All right, guys, so before we get started, I want to show you guys the ads I'm running for my own business, just so you have some background on how much I spend, how much I know, stuff like that. So obviously we have tons and tons of clients, right? Like currently I'm working with about 50 or 60 different businesses on their ads. But just to show you guys, like in the last 30 days, I spent about 150K, which is super slow just because at the end of December, we didn't really work, so we didn't really spend that much on ads. But if we look at months like, for example, October, spent 392,000. Months like November, we spent 350,000. And then this month alone, 18 days, we've spent about 100,000, right? So this is all legit. This is all real. I just showed you guys. So what I'm gonna teach you is my exact strategy. Okay, so this is like some ninja stuff, right? Like some top secret ninja material. Some people might understand part of this strategy, but the collective whole of the strategy is fairly rare for people to know because we literally made it up in house, right? So we literally came to this conclusion after spending our own money. This was not learned through courses. This was not learned through YouTube. This was not learned through any other method, right? So what I want to teach you guys is exactly how to run ads on Facebook in 2024 for your business. There's going to be so many millionaires created this year using this strategy, and there's going to be so many millionaires that hit the 8-9 figure mark using this strategy as well, right? So I'm personally trying to take my business to about $1 million a month. I'm going to use this exact strategy. This is literally what I'm doing. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go to business.facebook.com/overview. This is if you don't have a business manager. So like, I'm going to treat this tutorial as if everybody's a beginner so that everybody can learn. And then obviously the experts can take on the little things that is going to optimize their strategy. So what you want to do is you want to click create account and then add your business name, your name, and your email. And then from there, you'll be able to confirm your business. So I want to explain a concept. So there is like your Facebook profile, there's a business manager, and then the assets, right? So what your profile is not directly connected to your business manager, which is not directly connected to the ads they're going to be running. So these are all separate entities. However, obviously, if you created it, then they will all come connected, but they can be disconnected. So like, keep in mind that these are all separate entities. So right now, what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a business manager. And if over here it prompts you to log in, that's because you need to be logged into a Facebook profile to create this. Now, I'm not obviously going to create this. I'm going to show you guys how we do things on my own account, and then we can take it from there. So keep in mind, the only other link other than overview that you want to know is select. So select. So I'm not actually going to go into this link just because I have tons of clients on there. I'm not sure which one of them I have an NDA with, which one I don't. So we're going to skip that part, but keep in mind. So 3 links: business.facebook.com/overview to create your business manager, business.facebook.com/select to see all the ads all the business managers that you're connected to. Now, the next thing you want to know is your settings, right? The business settings. And then from there, you should be able to add a Facebook page, add an Instagram account, create an ads manager. So what we have in front of us is an ads manager, okay? So the first thing you want to know how to do, and I'm going to split this video into 2. I'm going to talk about lead gen, and then I'm going to talk about e-commerce, okay? So I'm guessing most of you guys are either going to be in the lead gen side, just because that's what I talk about mostly, but then the e-com side is more or less a similar concept. I just want to break that down. So I'm going to leave like timestamps in the video so that you can go and skip. So let's say you're e-com, skip this part, right? Go to the next part. And if you're lead gen, we're going to get started right here, okay? So first thing you want to do is you want to create the ad. And I want to explain the concept of the campaign, ad sets, and ads. So campaign is the target audience. Campaign is the goal. Ad sets is the target audience. And then ads is what the person is seeing. The campaign is the easiest one to decide which one you want to do. The ad sets, you can do a lot of testing there. But the ad side, the ads, this is the most important because that's where you find your winners. The concept of Facebook ads is very simple. If you're just doing it just to dump money and hoping something comes out, it's not going to work. You need to have a game plan of what to do in order for it to work, okay? So your game plan needs to be the following. I'm going to run some tests and find some winners, I'm going to take these winners and put them in a winning campaign by themselves, and then I'm going to keep testing. I'm going to test with about 20% of my budget and 80% put on winners. But before you have the winners, you need to put 100% into testing, okay? So that's the game plan. So we're going to start with the campaigns. I'll break each one of them down for you. I would say don't use awareness and don't use traffic and don't use app promotion for now. So don't worry about those. If you want to have a specific video done about any of those, then let me know. But for the most part, they're not really that important. There is only one thing you can do from them that is, I would say the general public might utilize, is the traffic campaign, because you can actually have Instagram profile visits. This is to build your following. The engagement campaign, the leads, and the sales, those are the big three, okay? So engagement, you can have conversations, which is the biggest thing, right? So the engagement campaign, the only time you would want to do it is when you want people to DM you, right? You want to sell through Instagram DM or Facebook DM or whatever it may be. So that's important. We're going to walk through a campaign setup for this. We're going to walk through a campaign setup for leads, and then we're also going to walk through a campaign setup for sales later, okay? So let's start with the engagement. I'll run you guys through it fairly quickly. So I usually go through the manual setup, okay? And here you can name your campaign whatever you want. So on this ad account, I have about 160 campaigns. So it does get to a point where it becomes unorganized. So you want to make sure that you organize through proper terminology, okay? So let's say prospection means you're trying to get new prospects. And everything here is not that important. There's only a couple things that are important. So the first thing is if you're a special category. If you do credit, employment, housing, or anything politics related, you want to select that category. Don't try to dodge this, okay? Don't try to dodge this. Facebook will limit your options later, but at least you will be able to run the ads. If you try to dodge this, they're going to block your account, okay? Don't do that. So the second important thing here is the Advantage campaign budget. This used to be called campaign budget optimization. So when you turn this on, this basically allows Facebook, hey, listen, you're telling Facebook, this is my budget. Spend it on any audience you want and spend it on any ad you want. I don't really care. This is my daily budget. Try to get me the best results possible. I usually keep this off at the beginning. I turn this on later when it comes down to the winning campaign. So remember how we talked about 100% testing at the beginning, and then you want to do 20% testing, 80% winners? I turn on the CBO, which is the campaign budget optimization, on the winners. I don't start with this. So this is turned off. So you're on your campaign side of things, this is it. You didn't have to click anything. So all you do is you click next, okay? And keep in mind, I am walking you through these step by step just so you know what you're doing, okay? So the ad set here, you want to be also organized when it comes to what you're doing. So typically I start with a control. So a control audience means it's a blank audience. There's nothing in it, okay? And what you want to utilize here is a messaging app, okay? So if we did engagement, we're going to do messaging app. And here you're going to select whether you want Facebook, Instagram, whatever, okay? So this is our second business, so feel free to go give it a follow. We talk a lot about life insurance, stuff like that. But nevertheless, let's say you deselect the Facebook. Let's say you want to do Instagram only. Just deselect Facebook here and then vice versa as well. Now, what I recommend is you start on both or start on Instagram alone. I find that the DM campaign on Instagram does extremely well because on Facebook, it gives you cheaper quality individuals. However, I would say test it at the beginning to see how it does. And if it doesn't do as well on Facebook than it does on Instagram, just come back here and shut off the messenger, okay? So the next thing you want to do is you want to keep scrolling. So all of this is like, I wouldn't touch this at the beginning, right? There's obviously like advanced settings for it, all of these, but you don't really need advanced settings. Like on Facebook, simplicity scales, okay? So for the budget, now what I would do is I would figure out what your daily budget is. What I would recommend is to have no less on a monthly basis than one conversion at a high ticket if you're a high ticket business. If you're a low ticket business, I would have the daily ad spend, at the beginning at least, be a minimum of the cost of one of your products per day. So, and what I mean by cost is not your cost, like what it costs a client to get to you. So like, let's say you're selling a $50 product, okay? I would start at $50 a day, okay? If you're selling a $2,000 product, I would do 2,000 divided by 30. That's what I would use, okay? So that's at the beginning. That's for testing. And that's not the number you put here, actually, okay? So what I would do, and keep in mind, it does vary based on your budget, but I would suggest you start off with about $10 to $20 a day per ad set, right? So let's say you're selling a $50 product. I would start at $10 and I would do 5 of these, okay? So 5 different target audiences at $10 a day. That's still going to result in $50, which is one of your conversions. And then from there, once we find out which target audience is converting, we'll move the budget there. So you're not going to make money day one. You're not, okay? So there is a very low chance that you will make money on day one unless you have a ton of experience. But it's likely that you find true answers over the course of 3, 4, 5 days, and then you can actually make money on purpose, not through luck, okay? So after selecting the daily budget, the audience controls, I'm not the biggest fan of this. Typically, I like to switch to original audience options, so that's what I would do. And I would scroll down. Since this is a control audience, we're not going to touch any of this, but I'm going to walk you through it so we're quick on the next one, okay? So you can pick location, you can click edit, click include or add exclusions, and then you can add or remove whichever target audience of location you want. You can do zip codes, you can do specific address, you can even go and drop a pin, right? So we're in Tampa, so let's say I drop a pin right here. I missed it by a little bit, but let's say we drop a pin right here. Boom, we're good, okay? So like we have a pin, so I'm gonna get rid of this one. If you drop a pin, you can go as little as 1 mile radius, okay? But if you don't drop a pin, if I actually type out Tampa, let me do Tampa, Florida, the minimum it's gonna let me do is 10 miles, okay? So keep that in mind. And the next thing, I'm actually gonna keep it US wide, just so you guys know, United States, okay? And the age group is the next thing you go through. So 18 to 65 plus is default. I'm not gonna touch this because it's a control audience. But typically, if you notice, you're getting a lot of young people, a lot of people without a lot of money. So I would get rid of the young ages. Typically, I would start at either 21 or 25, and I would do the cutoff at 55. So, but since this is control, we're going to keep this open. And really, like when it comes to age group testing, don't worry about that till later, right? Like figure out which interests is the ones that are converting for you, and then worry about the age group, okay? Same concept for the gender. I usually don't touch this, okay? Unless your product is strictly for one gender and you find that, yes, the other gender is not buying it as a gift for the gender that you want, then select the gender. But for now, keep everything open. Here's where you select your interests, right? So if you click suggestions, it's going to give you a long list of interests. But let's say here, theoretically, we select the interests money, okay? So we selected money as an employer, so that was wrong. Sorry, money. And you want to find what it says here. So you said employer, field of study, schools, interest. Okay? Money as a currency is an interest. So now you click suggestions. It's going to say finance, income, wealth, investment, entrepreneurship, passive income, the whole 9 yards. You can even go as far as typing out the name of famous people within the space that you want. Let's say in the business space, a lot of people have heard of the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So the author, Robert Kiyosaki, boom, author, there you go, 53 million. So all these people, they like business, right? Same concept with this. Business leader, I mean, the difference between author and business leader, like, I'm not exactly sure, but it is a big difference on the audience size. You see, this is 53 million. This one's 11,000. So I would definitely have gone with the 53 million. But nevertheless, we're going to keep this blank just because we are doing a control audience. The languages, you can select English if you're getting a lot of Spanish speakers and you don't speak Spanish, and then vice versa. You can select French, whatever it may be, but I'm guessing most of you guys are just going to select English. Advantage Plus placements. I like this placement style, actually. So this is where you tell Facebook, hey, listen, just put my stuff wherever. Just get me the best results possible. You are able to select manual placements and run tests, maybe run things only on Facebook, things only on Instagram, things only on the story, things only on the feed, whatever it may be. Now we're going to keep it as Advantage Plus placements. I would say the majority of you guys probably fit under this criteria. So the next part, this is the ad. So name this ad 1, okay? And if you don't know where to create your ads or how to create your ads, I would say that canva.com is probably the best website for you. There's a free version, there's a paid version. The paid version is dirt cheap too, so it doesn't really matter that much which one you decide. Go play around with the free version. If you find things that need the paid version and you like them, then go ahead and purchase it. But that's really all I would say about this. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an image and I'm going to show you guys what this looks like, okay? So let me see if we have some sort of like simple example. All right, so this is definitely not an ad. I would never use this ever, but we're going to run with it just for the sake of this video. When you upload a photo or a video, it turns into this, right? On the story, it turns into this. Now you are able to story optimize your ads by clicking this little pencil on the stories and then clicking change, and then you can select the story optimized one, okay? So from there, I'm gonna break down which texts are important. Primary text, headline, and then that's it. So sometimes you get presented with a description. Obviously, it's based on the campaign type and whatnot. This one is a message campaign, so you're not gonna see that. Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, so the primary text is above the ad. The headline is under the ad. If you're on Instagram, you only get a primary text under the ad. There is no headline, okay? So even if you leave this blank, if you're running ads on Instagram, nobody's gonna know, right? So technically, you need the headline, but let's say theoretically you didn't put one. That's fine if you're running on Instagram only. So the next part that's important, I'm not gonna run you guys through a copywriting strategy. I feel like I can make a video about this by itself because it's a long topic. But for the call to action, I would either do send message if you're doing a messaging campaign. Everything else, I would do a learn more. And then for the sales, like if you're selling things on Shopify, whatever, I will do shop now, okay? So for the conversation, you can say hi and then select the name. So insert persona. You can say full name, first name, whatever. Please let us know how we can help. I don't like the original questions from Facebook, okay? Is anyone available to chat? Obviously, they're available to chat. If I'm interested, can you tell me more? This one's not that bad, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. And then, can I learn more about your business? This one's okay. Typically, what I like to do is the following. I like to have an offer in the ad where someone knows exactly why they're signing up, okay? So in the primary text, what I would do is I would do something along the lines of DM us or DM me the word, let's say you're selling a massage service, right? Like you're giving people massage in their home and you're giving a one-time offer that is a special. And keep in mind, you need to give someone a reason to stop scrolling and give you their time or their information. So like just having a boring ad with no offer is not likely going to get this to work even if you follow all my steps. So you need to turn off your business owner mind of that I want to make profit and start thinking like a marketer. How can I attract more people? How can I attract an audience? How can I disrupt my competition? This one's my favorite one. So I usually go to my competitors and I think to myself, what can I do that's totally going to mess with these people? So that's my strategy. It works almost every single time just because if the market is already responding to what my competitors are doing, if I come in with the intention of destroying them, it's very easy for me to win a big share of the market, okay? So let's say DM me offer and I'll send you the voucher for a 90% off in-home massage. Okay, huge. I mean, I would click on this, you know what I'm saying? So like fire. So here you go back, you get rid of these, and then the question you're gonna say, you're just gonna say offer. So now, and then you wanna get rid of, please let me know how we can help. You're gonna say DM me offer like this. Obviously type it nice, you know what I mean? Like DM, don't make it like this. Like capitalize it. To get your voucher. And then you see how it's gonna have the offer here? I would even go as far as making it all caps. Okay? So they can see it and then they click this and then boom, you know someone came from the ad, you know this person is interested in a massage offer, you know what's up, okay? Now let's say you click save, boom, good to go. Let's say this is a photo of someone having the best massage of their life and you have some primary text stating your offer. The thing that I would do for the primary text for you guys is the following. So I'll give you guys a quick framework, okay? Let me click out of here just so I can zoom in for you guys. So this is the framework that I would use. I would do a hook, okay? I would do a offer, and a call to action. Or I would do a hook, story, call to action. Or I would do hook. You notice hook is going to be there every time. It's going to be offer, testimonial, call to action. And keep in mind, this is all for testing purposes, so you have a bunch of stuff to test, okay? And then you can do hook, testimonial, in story format, offer, testimonial, CTA, and you can even do hook, benefits, CTA. So any variation of this should be good enough to generate you good results on Facebook. Obviously, there's a lot more of those, but I think for beginners and intermediate people, this should be way more than enough. I mean, if you're looking up a video on how to run Facebook ads, that just tells me that you don't have the best results in the world, or at least most likely that you don't have the best result in the world. So this should be more than enough to give you a lot of ammo to generate very good results. For a headline, I like to do them in all caps, and I like them to be like call to action based. So like the headline is only on Facebook, so it's here. So since this already says send message, I would say something like claim voucher today. Boom. Just like that. So or here, if it's like, if the sizing is off, I would say something like claim your voucher today. Okay, boom. So now the size makes more sense. Now from here, what you do is the following. So after you've done one campaign, one ad set, one ad, the rest is super easy, because what you're doing is you're duplicating and making one change. The reason you want to make one change and nothing more is because if you make a bunch of changes and one outperforms the other, you're not going to know why it outperformed the other. What you're trying to do is you're trying to find out why one is going to do better than the other. So the first thing I would test is probably the image or the video. I would do as many tests of those as possible. The second thing I would test is, while I'm testing the image, I'm also testing the audience. One image might do better for one audience versus another, okay? And then for the primary text, this is the second thing that I would test. And then the third thing is probably like little things like the button, the headline, the age, the gender, all these additional things, okay? But realistically, you don't need to complicate it very much, okay? So let's go ahead and show you how we do that. I usually do quickly duplicate just because I want to do one at a time, but you can do a duplicate and then tell Facebook how many copies you want. Let's say here we're gonna do add to, okay? And let's say we want to change the image. We select image, and then you select another image. So let's say it's this one, okay? Boom, another image. That's testimonial, whatever it may be. Now, obviously, have something important in the image. Like these, I would never run these, like I said. So like, and I would do no more than 3 tests at the beginning, 3 to 5. 5 as in like, that's like tops. That's like $20 an ad set. If you're doing $10 a day per ad set, I would do probably max 3. And let's say we do another duplicate, okay? And then we're going to add another image. This time it's going to be this one, let's say. Okay, we're gonna name it add 3. You see, so we made one change. We changed the image every time. We didn't add any videos. Again, I'm not gonna launch these ads, but I just wanted to show you guys how to do it. And let's say here we want to duplicate it, and we want to do, we decided that our budget is $50 a day. We did $10 here. So I do duplicate. I would do 4 copies because we have the original plus 1. So we get 5 total. Boom. There we go. Control. And then now all we have to do is go select the copy, click here, and then add an interest, right? Remember, so let's just go with the money interest. And now what you can do is you can click on suggestions and you can get other ones. So we have finance, income, wealth, okay? So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go get money. We're gonna name the ad set money. Okay, we're gonna go to the next one. We're gonna go to wealth. And I'm gonna teach you guys about custom and lookalike audiences. I'll walk you guys through that right now. The next one is let's say people that are interested in health and wellness. I know it's not directly related to money, but A lot of times you want to look for a different angle, okay? And now we have one more target audience. Here you have a couple different options. I'm sure you guys have heard of people say, oh, you can retarget people with the same ads, okay? Yes, so I'm gonna walk you guys through how we're gonna do that, and it's gonna be like from here. So when you scroll down under audience, you have the option of creating a custom audience or a lookalike audience. To create a lookalike audience, you need a custom audience in the first place. So let's go ahead and create a lookalike audience create a custom audience and then create a lookalike for that custom audience. So I'll walk you guys through the options. If you have a website and you're sending a bunch of traffic to it, you select website. If you have a lead form and you're sending a bunch of traffic to it, select lead form. Facebook page, okay, Instagram account, right? So each one of these, I would say go in and play with it because you need to know these options because it makes a big difference whether or not that audience is good for you or not, just based on different factors, right? Like, let's say your website, a bunch of bot traffic just went to your website. Creating a custom audience from that is probably not the best idea because the audience is stained, okay? On the other hand, let's say you close tons of deals on Instagram because everybody that follows you likes what you do. So you select Instagram account and you select whichever Instagram account that you want to run for. And then you say anyone who engaged with this professional account, anyone who started following this professional account, anyone who visited this professional account's profile, anyone who's engaged with a post or an ad, people who sent a message to this account, and then people who saved any post or ad from this account. And you can go up to 365 days, okay? There's other things that you can do. So you can click on website, and then you can say all website visitors. You can say things like people who visited a specific web page, people who became a lead on the website, people who viewed the page on the website. So there's so many different things that you can do. But after you do like one of these, let's say you're doing lead form, and let's say that you're doing, let me see, I'm just gonna do Gentech. Okay, let's say we selected this lead form, okay, and the retention is 90 days. Okay, so opened form 90 day, okay? Then you create the audience, okay? And the next thing it's gonna ask you is, do you wanna create a lookalike audience for this, okay? So here's where you can do things that are thinking outside the box, right? So like you can create a lookalike of people who filled out your form, okay? And then you can have a different audience. So lookalike means people like. A custom audience is exactly the people who you're talking to. So what I would do on a custom audience side is I would target people who opened and didn't submit the form. That means these people were a little interested. They weren't interested enough to fill out the form. There might be some sauce there, you know, there might be some deals going on there. So like we can target those people. So after you create an audience, you do have to give it a little bit to populate. So if it tells you that the audience size is tiny, don't worry about that. Just launch the ads and it'll take care of it itself. But that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for the messaging campaign. Okay. I'm going to start talking about the lead gen campaign. It's more or less the same concept when it comes to this. And the secret sauce is when you run multiple of these simultaneously, you're able to do a lot of damage. Okay. And the secret is what happens after someone becomes a lead. Most people, when it comes to Facebook ads, all they think about is I'm going to run some ads and the leads are going to reach out to me. That's not how that goes. The leads are going to show interest. Your automations need to nurture these people enough to make them clients, okay? The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create another ad. This time it's going to be leads, okay? It's going to be a manual setup again. And here we're going to also call it prospection. You guessed right. So the next part is the Advantage Plus campaign. Again, we keep this off. The next part is the ad set name. And then here I would do a control again. So more or less the same concept as the last one. I'm gonna walk you guys through the differences, okay? So the ones I would do here are two: website or instant forms. The other ones, yes, they work, but I'm not a very big fan of, okay? I like instant forms because that's a form that happens on Facebook. I like website because typically if they go to a website and they still fill out a form, they tend to be very qualified individuals, okay? So same concept. I'll probably do $10 a day on this, and then I would do the show more options. Obviously, we're not going to touch this because this is a control audience. We're going to keep everything else the same. the new leads. So add one, and here is where you get to choose a couple different options. So you have single image or video, and then you have carousel. Okay, carousel means this, it's a swipe through. Okay, so you can swipe through the images, and you have to obviously upload them manually one by one. Okay, so single image or video, and then here, let's say you selected this one. So this is actually an AI generated photo that we used in an ad right now. I think this is actually active. And then the primary text, we know what this one is. The headline, we know what this one is. The description, this wasn't on the last style of running ads, but we're gonna run you through this one as well. The description is down here, okay? I wouldn't use sign up, I would use learn more, okay? And then here's where you can build your form, okay? So what we're going to do on the form side of things, let me see this. Yeah. So what we're going to do on the form side of things is I'm going to show you the 3 types of forms you can do. You have the more volume, the higher intent, and the rich creative. You can see that the more volume, the higher intent looks the same. The only difference is that the more volume, you instantly go to a thank you for becoming a lead. The higher intent, it's going to have a review screen, which is this. They're going to have to swipe to submit. Okay, that's the only difference. The rich creative though, you can go crazy on the build your story, right? So you can do a how it works, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. You can do a product, right? Add an image, benefits, description, whatever it may be, social proof, reviews, what they said, whatever, right? So incentives, if you're doing some sort of crazy offer, free 1-hour consultation, whatever it may be, you can add them here. So like let's say test. So really, really cool, right? So let me see. And then from there, what you do is the questions. The questions, you can also have multiple variations. So you can have multiple choice, short answer, conditional. That means if they choose one, then you change the behavior of the form, an appointment request, and a slider. The only 3 that matter are the top 3, in my opinion, okay? Multiple choice is usually the best. If you have a yes and no question, give them the yes and no answers as like 1 clicks. Don't give them a short answer, okay? People on short answers tend to make a lot of typos, and that can mess up some of your automations on the back end. Now, let's say theoretically we don't ask any custom questions. You can. The more questions you ask, the harder it is to fill out the form, the more friction you create. Friction is a term in marketing that means difficulty of doing something on purpose, okay? The more friction you add, the higher quality the lead is, most likely just because they went through all these hoops to become a lead, okay? Because they're that interested in signing up. The next thing I would do is the description. I would do something like, who do we send this voucher to? Okay, full name, email, phone number, boom, you're done, okay? Privacy policy, go get one from your website. Actually type out one. If you don't know how to type out one, just ask ChatGPT, what does it need from you in order to write you a privacy policy? Give it what it wants, copy the policy it gives you, put it on your website, okay? You can also add custom disclaimers. So at the end, you can add terms and conditions. A lot of people don't actually use these. I think that they're genius, okay? So it's a test and a test, and then add new consent, and then you can add like mini consents. Like they have to check these boxes, and if they're not optional, then they have to tick the box, okay? This makes the lead way more quality, okay? And at the end, you can have a view website, call business, or view file. I don't really use view file as much. I do want to give it a test though, because I really don't have any businesses or clients that would need something like this. Typically, if I am giving some sort of file, I like to send them to my landing page just because I want to inform them about what I'm giving them. Because an ad is likely not going to give them all the information they need to make a decision on whether or not they want this item. But nevertheless, this is a good option, okay? So I typically do call business. On most of my ads, I do call business. The call to action, I say, call us here in all caps. I put the phone number, and then I say, thanks, you're all set. Like one of our experts will be reaching out shortly. But if you want to skip the wait, call us below, okay? So let's get rid of this. We're done with this. So right now, like for example, I'll show you guys a real form that we're using. What state are you in? I give them all the choices as a multiple choice because we realize that people make mistakes when typing. The next thing, I just need name, phone number, email, privacy policy, boom, good to go. Okay. The next thing we do is we're also going to duplicate this 2 times. Okay. And again, this is only because of this budget. Okay. So now we have add 2 and then we have add 3. Now, let's say theoretically we went and changed the images or whatever like we did on the first set of ads. I'm not going to go ahead and do that this time, but you guys get the point. Okay. So when it comes down to this, now we'll go ahead, duplicate, do 4 more copies, just like we did before. And then you change the audience on each one of these by scrolling down and clicking on the detailed targeting, and you add some sort of detailed targeting. Okay. Now, let's say theoretically you wanted to do website instead of lead form. Okay. I'm gonna delete these just to clean it up a little bit. Let's say theoretically you wanted to do a website instead of a lead form. You click on website. You're gonna probably have to redo the ads, right? And then the pixel, you select whichever pixel, which I will walk you guys through in the e-commerce side of this. And then you select whichever one you want. Complete registration, lead, whatever it may be. I'll walk you guys through which one is important and why it's important to know which one actually activates on your website. Because to a lot of people, they might want to lead, right? But your website might be actually firing for complete registration when someone signs up, okay? So let's make sure that we test this event before we run with it. But nevertheless, that's literally the only difference. So it's selecting lead, and then here when you create the ad, just putting in the website. The only thing that I would do on top of that is build the URL parameter. Okay, so test website.com. Okay, this is obviously not a real website, but we're gonna build the URL parameter. The campaign source, here's where you want to say what source was the campaign, okay? So you can do either Facebook ads, okay? You can say Meta, you can say IG, you can say the company, like your company name. So for example, when someone run an ad with us, we usually say Gentech, okay? So we can trace it back to the campaign source. How much money did we make them? The medium is the thing in the middle, okay? The thing in the middle is the ad set. I tend to either go with ad set ID, but this is going to give you a string of numbers, and sometimes it's hard to read. You can do ad set name, which is what I usually do. But you need to make sure that when you're doing the name, that you actually know what you're doing, just because once you publish these, even if you go and change the name, it's not going to actually change it on the ad set, okay? So it's always going to refer to original names. The campaign name, and then the campaign content is the ad, so ad name, okay? So I usually like to transfer a lot of this data over to the CRM so that I make sure that I know what ad each lead came from, so when I trace it back to which ad is actually making me the most money, I'm able to do so. Because simply having an ad that gives you the cheapest cost per lead is not sufficient enough for you to make the most amount of money, okay? You want to focus on the bigger picture. Don't focus on what's the cheapest. Focus on where am I making the most money, okay? So you click apply, you grab this website, and in this situation, you'd have to paste it on every single one of the carousels. But let's say we theoretically do a single image or video, then boom, you're good to go. You can actually just run with this, add an image, add your primary text, add your headline, a description, whatever it may be, okay? But after that, all you would do is you would click publish. Obviously, you'd have to duplicate it 2-3 times and then duplicate the target audience and then add changes, and then you're good to go. So the next part, we're going to talk about e-commerce, okay? So we went through the messages, we went through the lead gen. Now we're going to talk about e-commerce. It's been about 40-45 minutes on this video, so I do want to make sure that I'm able to wrap this up before the 1 hour mark. I don't want this video to be extremely long, but nevertheless, on the e-commerce side, so if you guys have seen this entire video through and through, you understand what we did there. The only thing that is different on the e-commerce side, as well as is part of the website on the lead gen side, is the pixel, okay? So let's walk you through how to set that up, okay? So what you want to do is you want to go to business settings and you want to go to events manager, okay? We're going to open these in separate tabs. I'm gonna go get an authentication code right now. So just bear with me for 1 second. All right, perfect. So I would highly recommend you turn on two-factor authentication. People try to hack you all the time. But what you want to do is you want to go under data sources. You want to go under data sets, okay? And you want to click add, okay? Name the data set, whatever it may be, okay? And then from there, like this one I don't actually utilize, so I'm going to actually use this one as a test. Events manager, okay? Click on data sources. Click on the pixel that you want, right? Okay, so this one is not. This one is tripping. All right, so let's use this one. Just gonna click done, refresh this. It should show up here. Okay, I guess not. So I think this one's actually dead. Yeah, I think we haven't used this one. Yeah. All right, that's fine. So I'm gonna use the other one. Yeah, so this is the one we regularly use. This is the one we don't use. So you wanna get this pixel code, okay? So most websites are gonna be nice enough to allow you to just copy this code right here, and then they will allow you to put that as your pixel ID, and then you're good to go. Other websites are not so nice, right? So what I usually do in this situation is I go under add events, add a new integration, or add a website and app event, and here it's going to allow you to select metapixel, say setup, manually add code, and then you copy this code, okay? And then you paste it on the header of your website, okay? So between the opening and the ending of the heading tag, you add it. You don't want to add it on one page. You want to add it on every page, okay? So there's different ways to integrate this. What I would do is I would look it up on YouTube. I would say how to install Facebook Pixel on WordPress, how to install Facebook Pixel on Shopify, how to install Facebook Pixel on ClickFunnels. Doesn't matter, okay? So you set this part up, and then you want to do a test event. Run through your website completely. So go on here, run through your test, and then click open website. If the website opens and you do all your actions and the actions track accordingly, they track correctly, you're good to go. If they don't track accordingly, then you want to go in and set them up manually. What I would recommend is to just work with a partner that helps you set up these pixels. So things like Shopify make your life way easier, okay? But if it's a custom coded website, I would say the easiest way for someone to set things up is to open an event setup tool, place your website here, click open website. The instructions are gonna be on the screen. I'm not gonna walk through that part because it really is super simple, okay? Let's say after you have your pixel, now you want to go back and set up the ads, okay? So back to the ads manager. We're gonna follow the same structure we did for the first two. So if you guys are skip to this part of the video, you don't understand like how we do things, I'm gonna say we did this, so you're able to obviously go back and watch it. But this time we're gonna talk about sales, okay? And we're gonna do a manual sales campaign. Now I would also recommend that you guys do a couple different tests here that we wouldn't do for the lead gen or the messaging, is test the campaign goal to be, test the objective of the campaign to be either add to carts or purchases. Because obviously we want purchases, but you might see better results on the add to cart one. So make sure that you run a test, see which one works for you, and then use that. Now, the campaign name, we're gonna go with, again, prospection. We're trying to find new clients. The next one we're gonna do is the campaign budget. We're gonna keep this off like we agreed, that obviously this is only for winners. This is not at the beginning. You can do a catalog. This is obviously a much more complicated one. I highly recommend that once your Facebook ads start to do well for your e-commerce store, like start working with a marketing company and then literally have them do this for you, okay? So this is a very, very powerful campaign. It links to your website. This is especially powerful if you have a ton of products, okay? Because let's say theoretically someone went on your website and they've added a product to cart and they didn't buy. When they go back on Facebook, they're not gonna see a different product. They're gonna see the product that's literally in their cart, okay? So very, very smart way to do a campaign. I personally love it, okay? The next one is the target audience. The ad set is the target audience, obviously, as we know. So the control is what I usually start with, okay? And here we don't wanna do messaging apps. Here we wanna do website, okay? We're gonna do an event as whatever it may be, okay? So let's say the event is purchase. So again, two events that I would focus on when it comes to conversions is purchase, okay? And then add to cart. That's it. That for e-com, that's all I would do. And then the daily budget is the same concept as the others. Again, if you skip to this part of the video, you don't understand like the theory behind the calculation, go back, skip back. But let's say we're gonna start with $50 a day. So we start daily budget at 10, and then we do 5 of these. And then same concept with the audience. I would switch to original audiences, and I would do this is the control, obviously, so I wouldn't touch this one. But then I would do suggestions, and I would go through it. Again, Facebook is literally on your side. This is probably the only way that they make money. Well, it used to be the only way. Now they have the Meta, the VR and whatnot. But nevertheless, like this is 90% of Facebook's revenue. $1 billion trillion company. They want to help you, okay? So listen to their suggestions, take their recommendations, because it is going to help you, okay? Now, there are some times where you want to break their recommendations on purpose to see what it does, and then decide whether or not you want to utilize that, okay? So let's say theoretically the control, we keep everything the same. We click next. Here, it's the same exact concept. So add one, manual upload, single image, add the creative, okay? Add whatever it may be, image or photo. So in this situation, I would obviously adjust the story one to not be broken like this, where the text is cut off. But we're gonna keep it this way, okay? So I'm gonna reset it to the square, and then the primary text again. If you guys skipped to this part of the video and you didn't check out the lead gen, I'll show you guys which one is what. So primary text, the headline is headline, and then the description is description right here. And then the website, sometimes when you're doing sales, it'll glitch out the photo. So I'm just gonna say test.com. Okay, there we go. So primary text is above the ad, headline is under the ad, description is under the ad. Again, like I really do recommend you guys have some sort of hook offer, hook benefits offer, hook testimonial offer, hook offer testimonial call to action. You know what I mean? Like have valuable stuff in your primary text and only sell one thing. Like whenever there's this meme where it's like on Thanksgiving, like we need beans, greens, potatoes, whatever. Like whenever someone is selling a million things on an ad and I look at it, that's all I can think of, right? Like don't sell all this stuff. Sell one thing, even if you have a bunch of other stuff on your website, okay? So that's pretty much it. You want to do the same thing we did for the previous ad where you would build the URL parameter. So here you put your name or the location, Facebook, whatever it may be. The medium is the ad set. The campaign name is the campaign name. And then the campaign content is the campaign content, which is the ad, okay? And then you click apply, and then boom, you'd utilize this. Now, just like the other two strategies, what I would do is, again, it's all based on your budget. I'm giving you guys a 10,000 foot overview. I'm not giving you guys every single answer, okay? Now, you want to do, let's say, 2 copies. You go on the first one, you change it to add 2, and you turn this off, you get rid of this image, you add another image, okay? And then add 3, you add a completely different image as well. So you remove, add image, put another image, okay? Now you go back to target audience, you click duplicate, you make a couple copies, obviously based on the budget that we did before. So we agreed that we want to do $50 a day. This one is at $10 a day, 4 more replicas, 4 more $10, that puts you at 50. And then you go into every single one of them manually and you put your different interests. So you put the interest here. So let's say cars, okay? Don't select employers. I'm selecting this just for speed purposes. And then select cars. You move on to the next one. Make sure to stay organized. This is huge, okay? So the next thing I want to tell you guys is, well, that's pretty much it for the actual ads themselves. But the magic happens on the back end, on the automation side, on when someone signs up, what happens next? When someone purchases from your website, what happens next, okay? So if you're doing the e-com, you're lucky. Shopify does a lot of the work for you. But what I would do is I would still build an email list and I would still provide extra value. If you're on the lead gen side, I would set up automations. The second someone becomes a lead, okay, you need to use either one or two websites, okay? You either use Zapier or you use Zapier in high level. So it's Go High Level, it's a CRM, does a bunch of stuff. You want to use either both or at least one of these softwares to create some sort of automation. Because the minute someone becomes a lead, you want to call them within 5 minutes of them becoming a lead, okay? If someone sends you a DM on Instagram, you want to respond within 5 minutes of them becoming a lead, okay? So like the 0 to 15 minute marker between when someone becomes a lead and when you reach out to them, that timeline is the best. Anything after that is not that good, okay? It's not that good. It decreases your conversion rate, and we simply don't want to decrease conversion rate because Facebook is not giving you a discount on those leads because you're reaching out to them later. You're simply going to get worse results for no reason, okay? So the next part that I would say is I'm going to create a video, custom video about every single one of these terms here. Actually, you know what? Like I'll just run through them just so we can go through it real quickly. I'm going to go through the columns. And I'm going to walk you guys through every single one of the important ones, okay? So, obviously there is the name. That's what it's called. It's important for organization. The bid strategy, I wouldn't be too worried about that. It's basically, I mean, it's really always going to be the same thing here. So, the bid strategy is either it's ad set or campaign budget, okay? So, it's not, the ad set bid strategy means like on average, like, Facebook is going to spend the money you tell it to. And then the bid cap means it's not going to spend more than X amount as long as it matches the criteria, okay? So don't need to worry about that. That's like more advanced. The budget is how much you want to spend. Amount spent is how much you actually spent. Reach and impression is where a lot of people get confused. I'll break that down in a simple fashion. Reach is always going to be less than impressions. Impressions is how many times the ad was shown. Reach is how many unique people saw the ad, okay? So if the ad was shown 3 times and 2 people saw the ad, that means one person saw the ad twice, making the total 3. It's that simple, okay? CPM, super important number. CPM is cost per mil, which means 1,000 impressions. How much does it cost you to show your ad 1,000 times, okay? Average play time for the video, obviously it's self-explanatory. Clicks, cost per click, click-through rate. Everybody talks about clicks. Clicks are important. Cost per click is how much it costs you for someone to click. CTR, click-through rate, is what % of impressions click on your ad. This is going to tell you if it's a good ad or a bad ad, because if it's a bad ad, small % of people are going to click on it. Good ad, high % of people are going to click on it, right? So the next thing you want to think about is the results and the cost per result. These are obviously, they vary based on what your quote-unquote result means. But if you are a lead gen based business, I would create a custom metric, which is the form conversion rate, okay? It's leads divided by link clicks, okay? It tells you what % of people who open the form end up filling it out. And then if you are an e-commerce, this is what I would do. I would add content views, which is total and cost, and then I would deselect everything else, okay? That's like under it, just get the total. You don't need a separation. So view content, add to cart, right? Total cost, initiate checkout, total cost, and then purchase, total cost, ROAS, okay? Return on ad spend. Funny, my license plate is actually ROAS because I'm big on Facebook, dude. So you want to deselect all these things, and this is going to tell you exactly what it is the person is doing. So like if someone added to cart, you're going to know here. If someone initiates checkout, you're going to know here. And this is going to help you identify where the leak in your boat is, right? Like, let's say your cost per click is awesome. Your click-through rate is awesome. Your everything is awesome except for the form conversion rate. 10% of the people who open the form fill it out. Well, that tells you your form is either too complicated or people are not enjoying their experience on the form. Same concept applies here. If you're getting a ton of add to carts and a ton of checkouts, but not a lot of purchases, maybe you're charging too much for shipping. Maybe you're doing X, maybe you're doing Y. So always remember, the way Facebook ad works, I wish someone told me this when I first got started, it's not a snap of fingers that's gonna make you money. What it's going to do is it's going to give you information, and depends on your experience is what you do with that information. So you can either look at the information and be like, oh, it is what it is. Or you can look at the information and say, I'm going to make this ammunition for myself to better my business. Okay? A beginner on Facebook is going to look at how much I spent, how much I made. They're not going to look at what happened in between. Don't be that person, okay? If you're running ads for your Shopify store and it's your first Shopify store ever, and you spent $100 on ads and you didn't make $10,000, that is very normal, okay? That's very normal. Figure out why you're not getting purchases overall, and set a realistic expectation, okay? Am I doubling my money? Am I tripling my money? You're not gonna walk in and 10x your money. You're not a Facebook ads expert, okay? In most instances, if you hit 5x or above, you're golden, okay? So if you're a marketing company and someone comes to you and they say, hey, I want to multiply my money by 25, don't take that client, right? Like, unrealistic expectations. Understand that Facebook ads, even though it's very techy, it's still marketing. It's still traditional marketing. Yes, they spoil us with all these numbers and it's very easy to know how to increase your return, but at the end of the day, it's still marketing, okay? So think about the fact that what you're setting up on Facebook is going to be seen by strangers, and strangers are going to judge whether or not they want to give you their business, okay? When you put yourself in their shoes, when you start thinking like a marketer, you start generating results. So that's pretty much it for this video. I'm not going to dive that much deeper into it. I think we did a lot today. So let me know if you guys have any questions. You can leave the comment box open. I'm more than happy to record more videos about specific topics. But for the time being, I'm just obviously going to wrap this video up, and I'll see you guys on the next one.